Greetings, everyone. I really should have written this down to stay cohesive, but I'm just taking a chance and I'm going to wing it. So I might go back and forth between my points. Now that the dust has settled with Kim and her ex husband, and she clearly has moved forward and in the advanced stages of her pregnancy. I want to go back now because remember, we only hear her side of the story and we get to see the truth as it unfolds. But keep in mind that, as I said, and I will always say, Kim is a very intelligent woman and she orchestrates her life. I'm sure from the very beginning, from she was very young, she has an idea of where she wants to go in life and she would walk towards it. So her marriage to Boo was not a coincidence. Understand that, okay? Now, we're going to talk about some of the pranks because, it's not pranking season now, and there's a few persons still doing it, and people are kind of bored with it now. But the prank really tell a story, and I've always said to people, be very careful of these pranks. You've heard me speak to Chrissy and CMR on their situation and their pranks, and you've heard me talk to Kim and Shay. Go back and watch some of those videos on Kim and Shay and see how these things are unfolding. And so when it comes to pranks, people don't understand that there's no joke in the word that we speak. You open your mouth and you manifest. Even when you think you're joking, OMG, you are creating your future. Now we're going to look at some of these pranks that Boo and Alicia Kim did. And these pranks really were foretelling. They were telling us what was happening. Now, what I want you to understand about Kim is that Kim is very good at chronicling her life story. Okay? But Boo also was talking to us very, very loudly in these pranks. Number one prank, the prank that I found and fell in love with this couple was the one when she first came from Jamaica and he pretended to have the police pull them over and have her deported. See, Boo really was affected by what people was telling him. Even if the thought crossed his mind, the more it got hammered, the more it seeped into his mind. That was Boo's first test to see how she would behave. And so when the cop pulled them over and he's asking for her papers and pretending like she's going to go home. OMG, it was very important to Kim. Because if you watch that prank, she was there telling him just be quiet. She didn't want him to agitate the police officer, which is natural. Nothing is wrong with that. If I am new to wherever it is I moved to be with my husband, and this happens, I'd be so scared. But not for a moment in that prank did Kim even realize that this is your husband. You know you got your paperwork at home, and all even if they lock you up and whatever, they can't just deport you like that. He would be able to go get it. That was his test to see how she was going to behave, what that meant to her. He knew that day. This is important. Prank number two, when Boo took Alicia Kim to look for work, he knows she's a university graduate. He brought her to a place with bucket to go and clean this building. Now, there's something going on with Boo in that video that showed that's a kind of meanness. And it really showed us, what he was thinking or what he was trying to say to her. Yes, you might be educated, but when you come to this country, you are not all of that. You might have to do anything. Perhaps in their own private world, and I'm just speculating here, he might be saying it's time to go to work. And although you have these experiences in Jamaica, you might have to take something that's less than your station. Then, OMG, did Kim start to tell us the story. You see, it's a tapestry that they were weaving for us, and a tapestry that they both knew the end result. They both know how it was going to end very early on. Number one, while Kim was in the household, Boo realized, what did I do? What did I actually do? Because now these two persons had nothing in common, as I've said before. Kim is still in her youth and her mind, her young mindset. She looks very young for her age, even though she's older, but she's also young in the way she perceived the world. Because listen, Boo is this person who's into the health fitness and he's trying to bring her into it. At that time, Kim didn't care about those things. If they would go to the supermarket as a couple, when you look at the things that Kim would pick up for herself, it'd probably be something you would pick up for your daughter, her little sweet things, and wasn't really into the health fitness like Boo. He clearly was trying to bring her into it. But you would also see times when Kim, is preparing her meals, and you never saw her preparing a meal like she was a married woman. There was no point when Kim really took on the role of wife in terms of an older man like Boo. He would have had the experiences in his past where his women took care of him. That was not going to happen with Kim. So you see her go shopping and she's preparing a meal, and that was showing you some of the crack. She was preparing a meal for herself. Her husband is a fitness person. And so whatever healthy food she's making for herself, she would make it times two if it was working out, if it was a partnership of husband and wife. Okay? It was never that. And this is why, as much as I support her, you might think I have a forked tongue. I'm speaking two ways. No, I'm splitting justice. I'm staying in the middle. So I never saw her operating as a wife towards her husband. But I see him, behaving in a way like an older grandfather. Sorry, no offense, or father to her. So I think he felt that marrying a younger lady, would give him the upper hand to really mold her. And that's what a lot of mistake men make. They marry these younger women thinking they can mold them. Young girls become older women and they don't know that. So if it's a situation where you feel like, let me get someone who is younger that I can mold, it's not going to happen, because these young women are far more worldly than our women in the past. Okay, the way we were brought up to just be a home maker, or even if we have a career, to merge these things where you are a mother and you're a wife and you work for other people and you juggle all these hats. These young people are not interested in all of that. Okay, young women nowadays, most of them, it's about them. It's about their hair and their makeup if they wear those things. It's about their career path. They don't even want to have children until it's the perfect time. And even when they're pregnant, they're working out at the gym. Even when they desperately want a baby, they will risk losing that baby just to keep the perfect form. So, the time that he lived in and the time where he tried to merge into a new world with a young woman is far, far gone. He would never get her to be that type of wife. So, and he was noticing that. The pranks and the truth as to when they sit down to have these conversations, he clearly was out of his element. But I'm going to be honest, he made a real good adjustment. So he was doing social media, and if he liked social media, I tell you, his videos would take off. To this day, if Boo stayed with social media, he would have been a big influencer. Men would absolutely love him. Men, for the most part, would be on his side. And if you notice, a lot of the women who are very angry with Kim are older women. Because in their mind, she did him dirty. Okay? As I said before, the pranks was telling the story. The prank where I got very upset with Kim is the one where she bought the pump. They were sitting in the car and she gave it to him as a present to pump up the thing. And of course, he was very upset because not only was it embarrassing, but it also was telling him a story. We might have seen it as a prank, and a lot of people did not like that prank, but Boo kind of got the message. And it was very embarrassing. And the fact that Kim would upload it. Kim was telling the people, listen, not going on over here. So in this department, it is something that she knew a lot of women would say, Lego that. Okay. Now, the prank where they did the one with the son. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna lie. I felt some type of way. But the thing that the son said was what they were saying in private. To say, oh, come on, you're too old. This, she's a better match or fit for myself. And having her leg over his leg. Oh my. Kim would have had to be in a state where she would already have moved on for her to do that to her husband. You see, that sensitivity Kim never really had for Boo. She really never had that thing that make her have a little bit of compassion to not humiliate him that way. So this is why I love her. I'm happy for her getting a baby because it meant so much to her. But I'm trying to say that she did him bad and he did her bad too. Let's go back to the case where she comes out because she's writing the story, and now she is going to be looking like a victim, even though things didn't go the way she wanted it to go, you know. And of course, things didn't go the way Boo wanted it to go. But as she writes the story, and we all get to see it, we start to have more compassion for her because we're saying, no, what is wrong with this man? He doesn't want to move out of the house. Kim rightfully should want to be in a space alone with her partner. It is not nice to be in a relationship, a new relationship, and have other people around. But that part of it can also be orchestrated, as I said in the past video, where, you know what? All right, okay, I have made up my mind I'm going to be with this girl. Nothing is going to stop me. I'm going to pursue this young lady and I'm going to bring her to America, but I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to make sure that when she comes here, if things don't work out, I don't lose everything that I have. And he worked that out. Boo's not a fool. And you have to have a strong mind not to come out and really talk to the people and give your side of the story, you know. You have to be so grounded in who you are as a man. Because just me, especially with her being pregnant now, not to come out and just be saying a whole bunch of stuff. You know yourself. The man feel comfortable in the way things have gone. He had made his decision to move on. All right. When she moves to the apartment and then she shows pictures of him taking away the bed and taking away the soap, Lord, it was over for him. Now she would become the darling, because when you see that he would have done that to her, to some people it was very heartbreaking. And for women who've had that experience with men who abandoned them, that was going to make them more loyal to Kim. Kim really played the best part of the game because, like I said, maybe eventually she would have moved on, but she positioned herself in a way, and she never talked bad about him in the beginning, and she always seemed so respectful. There were times when Kim did look very scared, and I was very concerned for her. And I think at some point he might have done or said things that made her feel scared or feel worried. And in terms of her paper, who would want to go through all of that with a man and then turn back around to go back to Jamaica? To her, it would feel like a failure. And so it did affect her mentally, as she says. Anyway, guys, this is just a quick breakdown of some of the pranks and a warning to people. Be careful what you put out there, because you're only manifesting the things that you're joking about. Sorry for the cutout, guys. Stay blessed, everyone.